All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good Tuesday morning. Welcome aboard our day two of our complimentary full throttle live training and trading, opening up the doors to our trading squadron. You get to walk around, kick the tires, maybe light the fires. So if you joined yesterday morning when I told you to join, you made potentially 1,800 bucks in 2 hours. Okay, men lie, trades don't. Yesterday afternoon, I fired what I call an SPX sniper trade, right? Every once in a while, I see a little move in the market. I'm like, you know what? Shot. So yesterday afternoon, I did a tactic called a bear call spread on the S&P 500, right up there at 5,700. We'll go take a look at the chart in a second here. If you don't know, and I'll teach you this, when I trade the S&P 500, SPX, it tends to move in $25 increments, right? Those $25 levels, which I'll show you, tend to act as magnets or pin. It's usually where the index tends to pin. So yesterday afternoon, I sent out this alert to the hunters and to the max afterburner folks, and you can see when I tag, when it says at everyone, everybody gets an alert on their cell phone. Boom, sold a bear call spread for $1.20, and Scott closed his, got a nice profit. John, great trade. Mine expired for max profit. If you did 15 contracts, that's an $1,800 profit in 2 hours. You're welcome. So if you joined yesterday and you did the annual membership at $29.95, I just paid, now you got 900 bucks left to go. So here was the bear call spread. There's 5,700 right there. Okay. I went up through it a little bit, but by the time the market closed yesterday, we had a slam. Look at that. We slammed. What did we slam down to? A $50 level, or 75, sorry. See that? It went right up to the 5,700 where I sold it, and then it slammed down to a 56.75. Max profit. Okay. 1,800 bucks, folks. Men lie, trades don't. I can't. This is one of those moments where, throughout the full throttle week, I'm like, why haven't you joined yet? If you had joined yesterday morning, you got a trade that made 1,800 bucks, or however many contracts you trade. If you traded double the contracts, you made 3,600 bucks. If you traded one contract, it was like 240 bucks or whatever it was. So I don't tell you what contracts to trade. I trade a certain amount based on the model portfolio. Okay. Who just asked that? Vicky. Vicky, SMS alerts are from 2012. We don't do SMS alerts. You do app alerts, which are instantaneous. So on an app, because when we used to do SMS alerts, it was this hieroglyphics, right? You could only have whatever it was, 140 characters, 160 characters. So people would get this. We don't do that anymore. You get an alert on your phone, on your app, that actually has the trade, right? We'll take screenshot just like I did yesterday. This alert went out with this iron condor, right? So on your phone, you're going to get the images of the trade. So no text alerts, it's app alerts. Text alerts are old. App. We have an app, and the trades get posted on there. You can see the exact trade. And oh, by the way, we'll talk about this when we get tactical in a couple minutes. Look at the iron condor that we placed yesterday. Already up. So if you did 1,800 bucks, maybe another 700 bucks, you're 2,500 bucks right now. In a day and a half, I've essentially paid for an annual membership. This will be one of those moments I go, what are you waiting for? Why haven't you joined? If you joined yesterday, you would have made some money. Okay. And month to date, men lie, trades don't. In my S&P 500 trades, I'm up close to $21,000. A lifetime membership at TOPGUN Options is 15 to 20 grand. Depends on if I'm in a good mood. If I'm in a good mood, it's 15. If not, it's 20. Okay. So what are you waiting for? You shouldn't be waiting for anything. Join now, because as of me jumping on the air, 31. There are 31 memberships left. I will close the doors when we get the rest of these. Okay. Let me give you the link to join right here. Okay. Quick reminder of the various levels. I'll talk through this. Alex, yesterday morning you entered the iron condors. It still makes sense to enter the same position. I'll talk about that when we get tactical. Okay, folks, this is where you need to be, right in the middle. This is our annual membership. It's $29.95 with a day and a half of trading. I paid for almost all of that. And maybe we'll take a sniper shot if we bottom out here at 5,600 on the S&P 500. I'll keep an eye on it. This is where you need to be, the annual membership, because you get the app, you get access to the hunters, you get all the full throttle stuff. It's a 50% discount. If you want to try it out with access to the hunters, where I just showed you, it's an app on your phone or it's on the website, do that for a couple months. Wiz, I want access to the hunters, so I get all those trades live, but I want to try you out for a couple months. It's $4.97. As a businessman, I want you in there for the rest of your life. As a guy who's not a jerk, I want you to do this one because if you do this, it's a hell of a lot more money than doing the annual. That's why most people end up in the annual. I have people that do the hunters, 3-4 months to check everything out. And so let's just do it this way. $1,800 trade. I paid for what? 3 months of the hunters. One trade yesterday afternoon, I paid for 3 months of the hunters. I'll put it in those terms. Now, over here is $295 a month. You do not get access to the hunters. You're not paying for it. This is kind of the kick the tires, right? People are like, do you have a free trial? Yeah, I do. It's called Full Throttle. You're getting 4 days potentially of free trading. This is your trial. If you need more after that, I'm not a charity. I run a charity. I am not a charity. It's $295 a month. Okay. Any questions on what you get? You get your skill-based manuals. You get your options weapon school training. Danny, or sorry if I got your name wrong, was asking about, hey, do you ever close one of these legs or something like that? Yeah, I'm going to teach you how to dogfight all this stuff. But remember, I'm treating you as if you're a current member. After I get done the sales bullshit right now, I'm going to get airborne in a regular live trade brief. Okay. Any questions on joining Full Throttle? Quick reminder, this is the replay page right here. If you didn't watch yesterday's replay, I strongly recommend you do. I gave a little intro on who I am, how we do things here. We talked about the trade plan that's over in the handouts. If you're new today, welcome aboard. Look over at the handouts tab over on the right side here. I've given you 3 free resources. One of them costs $45 on our website. I gave it to you for free. Okay. Any questions before we get airborne? Because we have a lot to talk about. If you can't tell, I failed, but I am very passionate about what I do. And I thank you, Vicky, for asking. So you trade a couple hours a day? No, I'd rather get my teeth drilled than trade a couple hours a day. I don't know how people sit here all day. What a miserable existence. No offense if you do, but that ain't me. I'm going to trade. I'm going to get done here, send out an email about all the stuff, and I'm going to go live. I got yoga. I'm going to the beach later with my son. I got some foundation stuff to do. I don't do this all the time, folks. You can. What's the point? It's funny when I see people sitting here for 8 hours a day staring at a chart. I'm like, man, I can set it and forget it with a lot of my trades. Yesterday afternoon, that was a 2-hour trade, and I didn't sit here all day and watched it. I fired the bear call spread, and I went and did stuff. And then after the market closed, I looked, I'm like, oh, it hit max profit. You didn't watch it? No. Why would I watch that trade? We're going to talk about that when we get tactical today. Why? Does anybody in this room think that staring at their screen is going to move a stock? Anybody in here? Come on, go up. Come on, go down. Let me stare at it. Let me meditate and try and manifest. It ain't gonna work. So if you feel like after you place a trade, you got to watch that thing, you're doing it wrong. Now, there are times when I do and stuff like that I'll get into, but ladies and gentlemen, if you're staring at something going, oh my God, I needed to do this, you're doing it wrong. I remember being a lowly retail trader, then having a big Chicago volatility arbitrage firm find me and go, what do? We like what you do. Come up here and help run our firm. What? I remember when I had a critical learning moment. Put some trades on. A bunch of the traders are like, all right, man, it's an hour after market open. Let's go drink. I'm like, it's 10:30 in the morning. I have a couple trades I need to watch. Literally 20 people laughed at me. I'm like, is my zipper down? They're like, what are you talking about? Watch it. You knew the max potential loss when you placed that trade, didn't you, Wiz? Yeah. Then let's go drink. Or let's go work out. I usually did, but there were people who would do that. And we'll be back at about 2:15, 2:30 to go trade the close. I'm like, wow. Exactly, Bob. People smoke opium. What, you staring at this ain't going to do anything. Right? Matter of fact, I placed that trade right around here. It went above 5,700. I'm like, okay, well, I'm done watching it. What do you mean you're done watching it? I'm like, yeah, because I knew the market was going to fade. How did you know? About 34 years of doing this. When you get this type of monster rally in the middle of the afternoon on nothing, you know what the day traders do by the end of the day? They take profits. The thing slammed 25 points. It's almost like I do this for a living. Okay. So a little bit of a rant to open the brief here, but I don't. You can do whatever you want. I don't do this. If I didn't have you all, if I wasn't doing live briefs Monday through Wednesday, 10 to 11, I'd be doing this on my own for a little bit in the morning, and then I'd be going to live. But I enjoy instructing. I enjoy people, and remember, folks, I don't want you here as a businessman. I want you here forever. As Wiz, I don't want you here forever. Nothing makes my heart smile more than an email in a year or two like, Wiz, I got it, man. Send me my Top Gun options patch. I'm going back to the fleet. You don't go to Top Gun forever, folks. That's not your career as a fighter pilot. I went to Top Gun. We call it going to the mountain. I went to the mountain, got my flowing robes and got smart. I could walk on the rice paper and leave no trace. Put the Top Gun patch on my shoulder and went back to the fleet. So I'm here to train you. Maybe not the best business model in the world, but I know this is a good Ponzi scheme. You put the Top Gun options patch on your shoulder, you go out to the fleet and you tell others. I love getting hey man, I'm sending a buddy your way. So unlike other places, this isn't a Roach Motel. Once you check in, you can't check out. All right. Any other administrative items before it's almost like, what is that movie around Christmas? It's a Wonderful Life. Whenever a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. That's two Full Throttle memberships that just went. So we will, once we close, man, and we're done. Awesome. So 2 more people, welcome aboard. All right, let's get airborne. Because we have a lot to cover. Israel strikes kill hundreds, tipping Gaza back toward war. Oh my God, please stop bombing us. We'll do anything. Release all the hostages and the dead bodies. Well, we won't do that. Okay, then we're going to level you. I can't stand this. It's disgusting. It makes me want to weep. Stop killing each other. Okay? History didn't start on October 7th. History didn't start 1940. People have been killing each other for thousands of years, folks. But this is going to get to our defense trade that we're going to talk in a little bit. It's gross. Death, destruction. October 7th was a horror. It was Israel's 9/11 based on the amount of population they have and the amount of people killed. It was worse than our 9/11. And these people, I haven't seen a single pro-Palestine protest that condemns Hamas. You can separate the Palestinian people from Hamas. No, I can't. Haven't seen a single protest condemning Hamas. I'm going to leave that as a political discussion and move on. But at the end of the day, man, don't kill people or take hostages and not expect something bad to happen. I can't stand the word genocide. If Israel was committing a genocide, they would have already nuked this entire place. People who use the term Nazi, literally Hitler, and genocide use them too often that they actually lower the meaning of those words. It's ridiculous. So defense trade coming up, but that's why I'm bringing this up is, and the war's back on. I don't think it ever stopped, but I guess there was some ceasefires and, the attacks marked one of the deadliest days since the war began and come after talks to release the remaining hostages broke down. Shocker. They don't want to release the remaining hostages, Wiz, because that's their only bargaining chip. Duh. And I thought Israel was the country who coined the phrase, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Precisely. This might hit you wrong, but as a military guy, once this happened, I would have said, Israel, I'm sorry. We have to assume all of those hostages are dead. Now we're going to fucking destroy everything. If we get a couple back, yay, assume they're all dead. And they didn't. This is death by 1,000 cuts. You can't, in warfare, folks, I alluded to this a little bit yesterday, it has to be so horrific and violent that it ends quickly. Joe Biden and Kamala with Ukraine. I'll never give them tanks. That would be World War III. I'm giving them tanks. I'd never give them cluster munitions. That's a war crime. Here's some cluster munitions. I'd never give them fighter jets because here's some fighter jets. That's not how warfare is supposed to be. Warfare is the ultimate failure of the human condition. And if you are forced, kicking and screaming, dragging your nails to war, once it starts, it needs to be an absolute horror and violence so it ends quickly. But that's Wiz talking. As your portfolio manager talking in a couple minutes, I think this is great for business. Isn't that gross? Trump takes on the Houthis. Got a couple comms from some people who would know, man, we are pounding the shit out of these people. They attacked the homes of some of the politicians. They attacked political places. This is what needed to be done. Joe and Kamala, a couple limp-wristed attacks on some garages. They telegraphed the strikes too. Joe and Kamala would telegraph to the Iranians and the Houthis like, okay, we might be coming in the next 72 hours. Make sure, you know, your heavies know, wink, wink. And then we'd bomb some empty garages. Trump is going Ronald Reagan. I'm old enough to remember when Ronald Reagan attacked Muammar Gaddafi. He killed one of his 90 kids. Didn't do that on purpose, but he targeted the palace or whatever. You didn't hear from Gaddafi until when? Obama and Hillary Clinton. So ladies and gentlemen, every time I see a Hornet that I used to, well, they're Super Hornets. Every time I see one, I've been on that carrier. I've launched off that carrier. I worry. I worry about the women and the men flying these airplanes on the flight deck. But I'm also Gordon Gekko. We can make money off of this stuff. Tomorrow, I'm going to clean all this up. When we do accelerated retirement, we talk about some psychedelics. We're going to talk about healing the world. But today, I'm going to be Gordon Gekko. This is part of our strategic brief, isn't it? SOT. If you didn't attend yesterday, you have no idea why I'm talking about this stuff. SOT. This is the strategic part of our brief. Then we're going to get operational, and then we're going to trade and get tactical. Ukraine ceasefire hinges on Trump call with Putin. Oh boy. I think that's today. He's supposed to be talking to Vladimir. Kyiv accuses Moscow of prolonging the war through talks. I really don't give a shit. I can't stand Zelensky. I can't stand Putin. For years, I've been reporting on the graft and the corruption. I reported that the CIA director, the old CIA director, took a covert trip, wasn't too covert if I found out about it, to tell Zelensky, knock it off. The CIA knew that these generals and all these folks were stealing hundreds of millions of dollars, buying mansions in Spain and cars where their family fled the nation. It's disgusting. Every once in a while, Zelensky would fire 4 or 5 generals. I have clipped these guys for potential graft. Okay, buddy. So if we can't account for everywhere every one of our dollars went, it's a miserable failure. These people who treat you and I, the taxpayers in this country, like we're an endless supply of money. Can't afford to buy eggs, can't afford to fill your gas tank? That's all right. We don't give a shit. That's why the whole USAID thing was awesome. I'm a senator. I'm going to vote to fund this bullshit NGO where my wife works and makes $10 million. Oh, so that's how all of this stuff worked. Yep. So a lot of bad going on in the world militarily, which is bullish for me, which we'll talk about in a second. Even if I pray to God there is some sort of let's stop killing each other. Our defense stocks are on empty. 2 years ago, I told you we were getting thin. There was a 4-star admiral in Norfolk. I thought he was going to get fired. He's like, we have about 6 months of WEPs left. If China moved on Taiwan, we'd last about a week. I'm like, oh my God, we're out of weapons. Okay. So don't believe any of the liberal Democrat bullshit. Like, we've given them all of our old stuff. No, that ran out like the first year, our old stuff. They're getting a lot of new stuff. So rambling complete, you got to get long-term bullish on, defense. Does the US have a secret kill switch to deactivate European weapons? Yes. Wouldn't you? So this is funny, right? Canada, we've agreed to buy 88 Joint Strike Fighters, but now we're rethinking it. Okay, you've already spent $1.5 billion. I think you have 16 of them. There's 3 major Canadian defense companies, one who's the sole source of a part in the airplane for some oil filter. So if you do that, Canadians are going to lose jobs. And what airplane are you going to buy? So I love the fact that these European countries and Canada are doing well, maybe we'll just build our own and take care of our own defense. Oh, wow. So you're going to end up doing what Donald Trump wants you to do anyway. We have free healthcare and we have all sorts of stuff in Europe free. That's because you don't pay shit towards your defense. It's all the US. NATO, 80%. If you look at the pie chart of NATO spending, you can't even see some of the other countries. I've posted that on Twitter repeatedly. So go ahead, spend the next 10 to 20 years to try and make your own F-35. Good on you. Ain't that easy. You want to buy some other crappy 4th or 5th generation fighter? Knock yourself out. Okay. Let's get operational. Powell contends with double threat of economic chaos and political hostility. Holy shit. I can't remember the last time I've seen a Wall Street Journal headline like that. Federal Reserve is navigating the fog of trade war from an admin ready to blame officials for any economic slowdown. Whoa. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, I told you yesterday morning to start popping bags of popcorn to be ready for tomorrow afternoon. Oh, I forgot about that. Let me let's review the flight schedule real quick. We're going to meet tomorrow at 1. I have a lunch tomorrow morning that starts at 10. That's weird. So we're going to do a 1 o'clock brief tomorrow, not 10. It's going to be 1. And then Thursday, solo Amazon at 1 p.m. If you're not ready to join Full Throttle, solo Amazon's $97 a month, folks, and we only trade Amazon, so I'm going to cover that. But that's the flight schedule for the rest of the week. Okay, forgot about that. So why'd I get on that tangent? Because I'm going to rush home because I want to watch the press conference at 2:30. So the rate decision comes out at 2. They're not going to do anything tomorrow. There's like a 100% probability they're not doing anything, cutting rates or raising rates. They're going to hold rates steady. This, and it seems like I've been saying this for years, this Fed press conference will be the biggest one ever because they all have kind of been like that. Kept waiting for him to say, hey, we're going to get rate cut. Now now this one is going to be a big one because all the trade war stuff, inflation came in. CPI last week, 2 weeks ago, folks, it was a 3 print 2 months ago. The forecast was 2.9. It came in at 2.8. Oh, and by the way, folks, Democrats need a new talking point. Did you see the ag stuff? Okay, well, it refreshed and went away. Eggs have imploded. Gas has imploded. Eggs have imploded, gas have imploded. So, and inflation came in. So other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? I get it. But ladies and gentlemen, some of the big shiny red balls are kind of stopped bouncing. The biggest shiny red ball is obviously the trade stuff. April 2nd, Donald Trump has given us a date, folks. April 2nd, I'm going to make everything even. It's going to be a glorious day. Tariff is the most beautiful word in the world. April 2nd. So the spoken word out of Jerome Powell tomorrow afternoon is going to be ginormous. Grab the popcorn, 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. I thought the Fed's apolitical whiz, pull this leg and it plays jingle bells. It's one of the most political, non-political agencies out there. The guy cut 50 basis points in front of the election when he should have raised interest rates, folks. I've been saying this. I've been getting it right for years, folks, as Jerome Powell's been getting it wrong. So look at the S&P 500 here, man. We might be seeing a little bit of a dead cat bounce, right? You ever hear that term in trading? Oh my God, we're all going to die. No, we're not. Okay, that's called a dead cat bounce. And we're going to talk about that in a couple minutes, how we're going to trade it. And we'll talk about our iron condor here. Oh, Rick, don't even get me started about these judges. We need to be impeaching judges like this. These judges, there's checks and balances, Wiz. Nobody elected a district court judge, a Barack Obama appointee, whose wife owns or runs an abortion clinic in DC. You do not get more progressive than this judge trying to tell the duly elected Article 2 powers, folks. I'm a political science major. I love all this stuff. Fuck you, Your Honor. You can't ignore a ruling from a judge. I'm old enough to remember Joe Biden, the Supreme Court, not a district court judge, the Supreme Court of the United States said, you have no authority to take your pen and wipe out $750 billion in student loan debt. What did Joe Biden say publicly at a press conference? I showed them. I did it anyway. What? Why wasn't he impeached? The Supreme Court of the United States said you can't do this. He said, well, I did it anyway. Not a peep out of the press. Donald Trump, planes already in the air. I hereby order those planes to turn around. Who the fuck are you? Do you know the crew day of those people? Do you know how much fuel they have on board? And by the way, they were in international airspace. These judges must be impeached. I don't know why Republicans should have impeached Joe Biden for 9 million things, but breaking the law, folks, it doesn't get any more. The Supreme Court said you can't do this, and I did it anyway. Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. But now they have all their panties in a bunch about, well, this district court judge said this about these terrorists. The president of the United States designated Trendagua as a terror, like ISIS. They're lucky they got deported. These terrorists are in the United States. Kill them. I'm also old enough to remember Barack Hussein Obama ordering drone strikes that killed United States civilians. Do you remember this? I remember Senator Ron Wyden from Oregon. I remember Democrats frothing at the mouth to defend him. Don't get me wrong, I think smoking a dude like that on the battlefield is okay, but then the political science major me goes, Wiz, there is nowhere in the Constitution that says the president has the authority to be prosecutor, juror, and executioner. Killing an American on the battlefield is murder. Where's all the Republican attorneys generals? I would indict Barack Hussein Obama for murder. All right, rant complete. So, big day tomorrow with Jerome Powell. The week the smart money got whipsawed by the market. Ladies and gentlemen, as of this morning with yesterday's sniper, I am 17-1 in the past 3 months. 17 max profit trades on the S&P 500, 1 loss. I got one of these whipsaws wrong in here. Where was it? Or maybe it was here. It was here. That's where it was. We are printing money, folks, as the smart money is getting their ass handed to them. I absolutely love this. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Trump the second is not Trump the first. And his Treasury Secretary said this on Maria Bartiromo or whatever, Sunday news show. A little shocking to hear because the market loved his Treasury Secretary pick. He's going to be the adult that balances out Trump. He sounds more, he sounds worse than Trump. We're not looking at the stock market. We're going to see, hey man, this is going to be hard. All the crack addicts in the market, the crack's gone. The crack is drying up and you're going to go through withdrawals. I jokingly say that the market could use some ibogaine at this point because we're going through some withdrawal symptoms. But excuse me, I love this quote. Love or hate Donald Trump, and it's so weird that I don't love the guy, I don't hate the guy. I'm one of the few that can be like in the middle. I criticize the dude when he needs criticizing. I praise him, but it's sad that you either love him or you hate him instead of just like being. I don't see it at all. I think this country is going to boom. But as I said, I can do it the easy way or the hard way. The hard way to do it is exactly what I'm doing, but the results are going to be 20 times greater. I want that to sink in, and I gave you a choice yesterday. I already made my choice. I'm going to give you the same choice. You have to decide. He's wrong. The crack, the withdrawal symptoms from this is going to be devastating. This is the Fred Sanford. I'm old enough to remember watching Fred Sanford. Every episode, man, he'd grab his chest. I'm coming, Elizabeth. This is the big one. Well, he was right one day, but he was wrong 99.9% of the time. This is either the big one, with decades of bullshit government spending, of the Fed printing money out of thin air, super low interest rates for way too long, it's going to break us. Or it's going to suck for a little bit, and then we're going to see a rip your face off rally. You decide. And at the end of the day, folks, I don't care. I mean, I do care. I don't want to see everything implode and people get wiped out in their portfolios. That's whiz talking. As Gordon Gekko, as your instructor, good. I don't give a shit what happens. I just showed you yesterday, today, I'm making money either way. I'd prefer the country goes up and to the right and everybody's happy and good things happen. But at the end of the day, I don't give a shit because I'm going to make money. Vicky, yes, it's recorded and posted on the replay page. Okay, so sucks you got an appointment. Yeah, here's the replay page. Vicky, if you're going to join, make sure you join. Phone's buzzing a little bit here. So there's the replay page. All right. Talked about that. Big Pharma, mental health, Kristen Cinema, psychedelic research. We're going to talk about all that stuff tomorrow. This was incredible. This study, they were hitting mice in the heads with like little anvils, damaging their brains, gave them psilocybin. This is at Northeastern University. Absolutely stunned with the repair made to these brains with psilocybin. I'm going to blow you away tomorrow. So my brother Daniel Carcillo, I was rippling through this stuff. Big Pharma, we'll talk about tomorrow. Kristen Cinema, we'll talk about tomorrow. And then this study with rat brains, man, and head trauma. Daniel Carcillo, two-time Stanley Cup champ, Blackhawks, on my board, owns Experience Onward in Oregon. Many of us are investors in Experience Onward. The clinic, actually looking at opening one in Colorado. Good news is coming. See, and that's the other benefit of being a TGO member, folks. Many of you are invested in Healing Realty Trust, which is printing money. When we go public, if we go public, that's my retirement. Many of you invested in Experience Onward, Daniel's legal psilocybin clinic in Oregon. I was out there 3 weeks ago doing a retreat. The healing, man. All right, that's tomorrow. Enough good news. Let's focus on making money here. All right, let's get tactical. Looks like we bottomed out on the S&P 500 for now. Maybe time for a bullish sniper. I'm going to watch it a little bit more. I'm waiting for the turn. Okay, and I'll teach you how to do all this stuff. Existing trades right now, we have on an iron condor from yesterday. Does everybody have this one on? Let's break it up into the individual spreads. And I'm going to tell you something that I failed. What did you fail at, Wiz? Yesterday, I should have sent out an alert that said to close the bull put spread. I didn't brief it, so I didn't do it. Why would you have closed the bull put spread? Because we got a monster move yesterday, and the trade at its highest was up 50%. Right? We placed a trade right around here yesterday morning, the iron condor, and it ripped. So I failed to brief this. I did brief 7, 8, 9. If you're looking at a 70, 80, or 90% profit on a credit spread, which both of these trades are, close it. That's for the life of the trade. I should have briefed 4, 5, 6. What's that? If you can make a 40, 50, or 60% profit that day or in a couple hours, close it. So didn't brief it, so I didn't do it. In my personal accounts, I would have done that. Close winning trades. This trade made 50%. I think it was $900 or something in 2 hours. I should have closed it. Most of my members closed it. They know what to do. And I would have put it on again this morning. This is kind of dogfighting a trade. No one has gone broke taking a profit. That would have been a perfect move yesterday. Put on my iron condor right here with Wiz. Whoa, the bull put spread's looking really good. 50% profit. Close it. Leave the bear call spread on that's up here, the roof. And then this morning, I would have re-entered the bull put spread. Ka-ching. Taking some chips off the table, reestablishing the trade. Does everybody understand that? I didn't do it because I wanted to debrief my failure. As your instructor, I still fail. Now, excuse me. Now look at this. We are going to do this since I'm talking about it. This trade is up 45, maybe 50%. There's 50%. I'm closing it. Let's close this. And we're going to do the same thing. We can get in and out of this trade. There is a $1,000 profit right here, $1,100 profit. So ladies and gentlemen, if you did the bear call spread that I placed yesterday for $1,800, and you're getting out of this iron condor bear call spread for $1,000, that's $2,800. I'm $195 short of paying for your annual membership in a day and a half. Men lie, trades don't. You're seeing this live. Okay. Now let me go make sure my members know this. You're going to get a live demonstration of this. I'm in the Hunters Manage SPX Weekly Iron Condor. Should have, at everyone. I should have closed bull put spread yesterday for 50% profit. Today, I am taking profit on the bear call, it's my abbreviation, bear call spread. And we blasted it out at one contract yesterday. At everyone, I should have closed bull put spread yesterday for 50% profit. Today, I am taking profit on the bear call spread. And there's the trade. I'm going to post this in my lifetime group as well. Now, if tomorrow, whatever, we get a leg up, I'll re-put that trade on. You can get, this is why I told you yesterday, with an iron condor trade, I don't manage it as an iron condor. I manage it as 2 separate spreads. Any questions on this? I love doing this stuff live, showing you that we're making money. Managing SPX Weekly Iron Condor, right there. Trade alerts, fire. Phone just buzzed, just got my alert on the app. No text alerts, folks, app alerts. Text alerts are 10 years ago. All right, any questions on the iron condor management? Okay, out, $1,000, $1,800 yesterday, $1,000 today, $2,800, $195 away from your annual membership being paid. And watch what I believe is going to happen right now. What did I just say? I said I'm going to wait for it. We might do a bull put spread for today. Okay, but if we get another rally like this up to here, I will re-enter that bear call spread. Look at this, in, out, taking profits. Now, one more time, if you weren't here, I'd be done. I'd be in my flip-flops going to the beach down here in Boca Raton. I don't need to sit here the rest of it. What am I going to do? That's a solid rip here. Let me get a little confirmation, and then we might shoot a sniper here. Keep this one under the trigger for today. Remember, the market likes round numbers, so 5,600 would probably be support. 56, 55, 95. I'd keep this one under the trigger. This would be the aggressive bull put spread right now, folks, for the day. $1.30. I think we filled this gap. I would fire this one. Lauren, what do you mean by time zone issues with the iron condor? Yes, you can set your exit points, folks. Once you, once you put the trade on and you're filled, you can do what? You can put your exit. Hey man, I close this trade for X amount of profit or minimum loss. Absolutely. Once you're filled, put, hey man, this is when I'm leaving this thing. Okay? Absolutely. It's a great idea. That's a solid turn right there. Yeah, great point. All right, then we have a lot of other stuff to do here. But when I see a potential trade, baby, I'm gonna fire it. And this one, I'm actually gonna put in the image. So no text alert. If you remember, you're about to get an app alert with the images right now. I love demonstrating this stuff. Trade alerts. Done. All right, we have other stuff to cover. Let's go. All right, what are we doing here, folks? Error. Just refresh real quick. That was in lifetime. Trade alerts. All right, we have something else to talk about that we got to get to, and I want to get to our defense trade. I have to put some text in here. It doesn't let you just post the images, so I just rewrote what I wrote. Joe, not seeing the screenshots, just showing the disclaimer page. I don't. Joe, we're looking at the afterburner group. Nobody else is. Maybe exit and come back in. Everything else is fine. Lauren, it's posted. I got to move on. It's posted in the Hunters and the Max Afterburner. I'm pretty sure you're a member, so you should get this. All right, new trade, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you a long-term bullish trade that is a screaming buy right now. Let's once again look at the S&P 500. There's Donald Trump's election. Welcome to 2.5 months of volatility. Whoa, 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 up, down, heart rate, up, down, up, down, up, down. Look at the heart rates in here. Look at that. I want to show you a trade that prints money in this type of environment. Let's look at a 2-year chart of the S&P 500. Not a ton of volatility, Wiz. Jerome Powell says I'm going to cut rates next year. Oh, we had a little pullback, each one of these, but not like this insanity up here. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to buy this next name with both hands. What do I mean by that? When you buy on the floor, when you want to buy something, usually you got your pen and your order ticket in your hand, right? Or now they have iPads and bullshit. But if you want to buy, you do this. If you want to sell, you push your hand away, right? Buy with both hands means I really want this, man. Or sell with both hands mean you probably saw that in Trading Places, right? The movie with Valentine Mortimer. Sell, sell, sell. Okay. Buy this next name with both hands. A long-term bullish trade on CBOE. CBOE, Chicago Board Options Exchange. So, did you just see all the volatility I showed you on the screen? Let's look at the CBOE of just 6 months. Whoa, with the S&P 500, it's been all over the place. The CBOE has gone up and to the right. Why? And look at this. Right after Trump's election, we had a good pop in CBOE. And it gave some of that back. And now with all the volatility, we're ramping up. Let's just take a look at an all-time chart of CBOE just so you can see a trend. Anybody see a trend in this name? It goes up and to the right. And it's really exploded. Why? Volatility. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this headline. A thrill-seeking trade amps up heading into 2025. Stock options are soaring. With who? You. Everyday investors, I can't stand this, but it's their headline, wagering on market whipsaws. Or I actually love this headline because I'm bullish on CBOE. Ladies and gentlemen, I was in the CBOE and the CBOT here. And I thought options trading was going crazy. I started the Options News Network. I left the CBOE and the CBOT, and then what started TOPGUN Options down here in God's waiting room, Boca Raton. Then what happened? Does anybody see a trend in options trading? So why wouldn't you buy the name where they trade? This is free money. Look at this, CBOE Global Markets. Share of options activity from individual investors. So no longer, gone are the days of smoke-filled rooms. When did calls come out? 73? Somebody's like, hey, instead of coming out of pocket a lot of money to buy a stock, why don't we come up with an options contract? This is what I'm going to show you in a second here. So ladies, this is my commit criteria. We're on step 3 of our game trade plan. Look at this. Shares of 0 days to expiration options tied to the S&P 500 exploding. This is your commit criteria. I'll put this in the replay, but ladies and gentlemen, there's your commit criteria. Buy CBOE with both hands. Now we're going to build this trade together. I'm going to show you the power of options. Okay. If you wanted to get long-term bullish on the CBOE right now, I'm going to buy 100 shares of CBOE. Okay, I don't know why in the hell you would do that, but do you have 21,644 bucks? No. Well, welcome aboard TOPGUN Options. You don't need $21,000 to get 100 shares of the CBOE. I'm going to show you how to use options to do this exact trade, minimize your risk, and save you a shit pot of money. Okay, let's talk options real quick. One options contract is worth 100 shares of stock. Okay, so we could buy a single options contract, and it's going to allow us to control 100 shares of stock for however long the options contract is. Okay, so let's remember the 21,644 bucks. Okay, now let's pull up the options chain and get in our time machine, and we're going to fly as far out into the future as we can. January of 2027. Why am I doing that? Because that's as far out into the future as I can go to be long-term bullish on CBOE. Now let's select that. Now the options chain comes up, and you can see my existing position. I have synthetic stock, but we're going to talk about it at the 200 strike. But right now, CBOE is at 216. There isn't a 216 strike down here. So let's just go 220, okay? I could buy an at the money call. Well, this is slightly out of the money by $4, okay? If you bought a slightly out of the money 220 call, it would cost you $31.50. Somebody tell me why you would spend $21,644 instead of $3,150. I'm waiting. Let's talk through a trade right now. So instead of spending $21,066 or whatever it was, I got you down to $31.50. Let's see if we can get it a little lower. If you're new to options, which some of you are from yesterday's poll, let's just do this real quick. When you buy an options contract, you're bullish. I'm buying this call option because I think it's going to go up. Somebody is on the other side of that trade. They're selling you this option because they think what? It's going to go down. Somebody's got to be on the other side. So if I buy a call, I'm bullish. If I sell a call, I'm bearish. Yep. Let's go over to puts. Most of you, even if you're brand new to options, you have heard this term. Uh-oh, I think something's going to go down. I'm going to buy some puts. Buying a put is insurance. You have puts in your life. Every month I got a put with USAA on my auto, home, and life insurance, right? You deal with puts all the time, folks. So if you buy a put because you're bearish, you think something's going to go down or something bad's going to happen, somebody has to be on the other side of that trade and sell you that put. Technically, that's the insurance company. So buying a put, you're bearish. So selling that put means you're bullish. So why don't we do this? Why don't we sell the same 220 put instead of the call? Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at this picture real quick. This is the most basic P&L diagram there is. It's long stock. If you bought 100 shares of CBOE right now and it went up $10 today, it went up $10. This is something called synthetic stock. I just showed you how to use options to get synthetically long this stock. What did we start with? It was $21,066, Wiz. Then what did I get you down to? $3,150. Now what do I have you down to? $810. Now I'm going to pause so everybody can clap. This isn't sorcery. This isn't bullshit. This is the way. Now, Wiz, what don't I get since I'm not an actual shareholder, since I didn't buy 100 shares? You don't get two things with synthetic stock. You don't get to vote. You're not a shareholder. I'm pretty certain Terry Duffy and all the other guys in Chicago probably own a little bit more than your 100 shares. So your vote doesn't mean squat. So that's one thing you don't get, to vote. I don't care. The other thing you don't get with doing synthetic stock is the dividend. If there is one, I don't even know this. I don't even know. You would think I would know. I don't, because I don't care. Yeah. Oh no, folks, you're missing out on a, where is it? Right here. A 0.57% dividend. Oh my goodness. Are you insane? So the two things you don't get with synthetic stock don't matter with the CBOE anyway. So again, people that are new to investing or people that are new to options, why in the hell would you spend $21,680 right now? You can't tell me. There is no reason to do this. And I just saved you 20-some thousand dollars. Okay. On your screen right now is a tactic we call synthetic stock. I am long-term bullish on the CBOE out into the future on the potential explosion and not potential explosion in options trading, in the explosion of options trading. Why am I using the word potential? Men lie, charts don't. Or I guess the charts could lie if the data is wrong, but this is the average daily options volumes annually. Even a political science major from South Jersey can see a trend. So now, the smart traders, my TOPGUN options members, as soon as I clicked analyze, the first place, they didn't look over here with me. They're smarter than that. They looked over here at the max potential loss, 22,000 or whatever. Oh my God, Wiz, I can't risk that much. It's the same exact risk as if you bought the 100 shares, dude. What's the max potential loss in CBOE in the next 2.5 years? If it goes, whoop, hold on. We just had a power surge. You guys got me? That was weird. Do you guys have me? 1, 2, 3, test, test, test. Okay. I felt like I went through a time warp here. All right. Let's do the time warp again. So here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're sitting here going, I can't risk that, you were just going to risk it buying the shares. But let me help you out, because a lot of us trade on margin. Some of you are like, well, first of all, if you're trading on margin, you don't need 22 grand in your account. I forget what the margin ratio is. You might need 2 or 3 grand to do this trade. I don't know. I'm not you. But you don't need the full 22 grand in your account, period. Trust me. But I'm gonna help you out. What would be a disaster? Well, Wiz, I've heard the NASDAQ is in correction territory. It's down 20%. How many times have you heard, like, the market today is officially in a bear market? What do they define that as? 20%. It's why? That's the way it's always been. So, and remember, folks, let's look at this real quick. What's it say right here? Probability of maximum loss, 0.00. There's probably 15 decimal points and a 1. The odds of getting eaten by a golden retriever are never 0. The odds of CBOE going to 0 in the next couple of years are never 0, but they are almost 0, right? But you can't call the E-Trade risk management department and go, hey man, it's with, even I can't, I need you to set this, maybe throwing this thing off. Okay. To show the risk management. Alex, this isn't a trade you select on your drop down for E-Trade. I'm building this. This is called synthetic stock. This is why you're here, because I show you some cool shit. So let's buy a put that is about 20% under the current stock price. What is that? 190? Somebody do the math real quick. Let's buy a single 190 put. I call this a disaster put or a protective put. Okay. It's a disaster. 173. 20 and 20 is 40. Isn't that 180 or something? See, who knows? 180. You can play with this. So, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. On your screen right now is a tactic called synthetic stock with a protective put. I'm going to protect this in case CBOE implodes 20%. 175. All right, everybody's getting like specific here. Great, 175. So, ladies and gentlemen, now it's 1,800 bucks. Why? Because we bought some insurance, baby, to protect this trade. Now let's go look at the risk. We were risking 22,400 bucks. Now what are we risking? You're welcome. $6,000 is the absolute maximum you could lose if the CBOE goes to zero. Can it? Sure. Terrorist attack, nuke strike on Chicago. God forbid, that's not going to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, I better hear golf claps. We went from potentially buying 100 shares of CBOE for $22,000 to $1,800. I'm not done yet. Okay, you could just do this. This is synthetic stock all the way up to the right. You can just sit on your hands for the next 2.5 years and watch CBOE do this. Whoop. This stock this is a potential 6-figure profit. Most of my synthetic stocks, could you imagine spending $1,800 and in 2.5 years make 75 to 100 grand? Some, maybe most of my personal synthetic stocks, Amazon, JP Morgan, Raytheon, see significant profits. This isn't a sniper shot. This isn't sexy. This isn't, oh man, up, down, side. This is slow and steady wins the race. As I trade the front months, you're sitting in the front month, I have these ships deployed out into the future. Here's what I'm going to do to help pay for it, because I'm a cheap SOB. Friday, let's look at the chart. 1 month chart, 220. Looks like we've been peaking out at 220 here for a while. Let me go drop a line in here, up at 220. Let's put the roof out to Friday. There goes SPX. I got to keep an eye on my trade. I told you 5,600 might be a support level, so I'll keep an eye on that. So I'm going to say, hey, by this Friday, I don't think the CBOE pops above 220. I could sell a call, add option, sell Friday, not January 27th, the 220 call. Ladies and gentlemen, I just brought in $120. I reduced my cost basis. So when you join Top Gun Options, I'm going to show you that every week we could sell what I call a front month upside call against the position to bring in a little bit of coin each week. Folks, I will have this trade paid off in 2-3 months. Isn't that incredible? If you bought 100 shares, it's the buy, hope, and pray method. I bought 100 shares with CBOE ain't doing anything. I need to pray and hope it goes up. Wrong. With a synthetic stock position, I'm going to sell short calls against it and make some money. You can do that. It's called a covered call with the stock. We can talk about that in your training program. But ladies and gentlemen, this position is insane. And you know better than that. When is the March 25th expiration? The March 25 expiry. It is the 21st, and you know that. 1, 2, 3. The third Friday of every month is when options expire. On the E-Trade platform, the monthly options expiration is indicated by the month and the year, not the day. That's options 101, folks. See, these purple ones are the weekly options. The white is the third Friday of every month. You know that. So, Claudio, thank you for going 1 minute ahead of me into the future. Claudio asks a great question. I treat these short calls as a bear call spread. What do I mean by that? 7, 8, 9. If I'm looking at a 70, 80, or 90% profit on the credit I take in, close the short calls. What did I tell you yesterday with the bear call spread? I double the credit that I take in. What's that, 95 cents? 1.90. If CBOE starts ripping higher this week and that increases to $1.90, close the short calls. You do not want, first of all, celebrate. Don't go, oh no, my short calls are going in the money. Go, hey, CBOE's going up. That's what I wanted to do. It went up a little higher than I thought. I'm going to close these. First of all, celebrate that the name is going up. That's why you're in the long-term bullish trade. It's just going up a little bit above your calls. Warning, Claudio, do not let CBOE close above 220 with these calls in the money. You will most likely wake up Saturday morning short 100 shares of CBOE stock in your account. I don't want to drop anchor and go too deep on that. That's why we have our options weapons school training. So Claudio, great question. We manage our short calls. Does everybody understand that? No, I don't, Wiz. Good. That means you need options weapons school training. Session 6 is an hour to an hour and a half of this training. CBOE. Now I'm grabbing a screenshot. Now you're seeing, ladies and gentlemen, why we have the options weapons school training. Because in a brief like this trade should have taken me 5 to 10 minutes to do. I'm out of time to do my Raytheon trade. Why? Because if you remember, you've looked at all the training, you've watched it, you read your manuals. You're in the briefs for the trades and the intel. You're not in the briefs for me to spend an hour and a half talking about the synthetic stock trade. That's not what I do Monday through Wednesday. We do our live training. So let me grab screenshots of this to send out to my members. CBOE 318 metric. This is why we do the training that we do. So you guys don't have to sit here and do this. Jason, do you wait till midweek each week to sell the call with just a few days to expire? Jason, I usually do all of them on Monday. I usually do all the short calls for my brokerage account Monday to give them a little bit more time. I'm doing these today because we're doing full throttle training and I'm here to teach. All right, we go back to the hunters. Trade alerts thread. New long-term bullish synthetic stock on CBOE. At everyone. So everyone gets the trade alert. And then I put the images of the trade. So folks, if you're old and stodgy and you don't like apps, you need to get with the times. But anyway, I send out an email after this brief with the trades anyway. But most people are app savvy and love getting alerts instead of waiting for an email, an old stodgy email. But I do double work, which I don't like doing, but new long-term bullish synthetic stock on CBOE. If you have existing CBOE SYN stock, I would sell the 220 calls out to Friday. I have to put some text in there. It doesn't let me just add images without writing something, but that's kind of the obvious. Boom. Phone just buzzed. Jason, I'm a member of Full Throttle and don't get these alerts on the app. Do I have to join Hunters to get the alerts? Yes, Jason, absolutely. I covered that at the beginning, folks. Let's scroll down here. You have got to be in an annual membership for $29.95 or the monthly Hunters for $4.97. $2.95, you do not get access to the Hunters. You're just not paying for it. So Jason, just shoot an email to support at TOPGUN Options. We can upgrade you if you want. But Jason, you don't get the alerts, but you can open your app right now anyway and see the trade, right? So yes, you do get the trades. You're just not getting them with the live alert service. Okay. Bob, so in future, if up $20, both call side would go up, put side would decrease. That is how it makes money aside from selling the front month. Yeah, Bob, so that's exactly right. So you sold the put and you bought the call. Both of those are bullish tactics. Each one of those legs. Buying a call was bullish, selling the put was bullish. And it's got a 1-to-1 delta, meaning if CBOE goes up $10 today, your trade goes up $10 today. That's how it prints money. Excuse me. I only do synthetic stock trades on names I know are going to go up and to the right, that I know 2.5 years out in the future, they're going to print money. Excuse me. It doesn't get any more up and to the right than this. And as I showed you, excuse me, with the markets going ape shit recently, more trading happens in the options world. People are trading the VIX, people are trading the S&P 500, mass hysteria going on. So great question, Bob. So we make, CBOE is printing money, and it's gonna make even more. Celia, I did synthetic stock on Raytheon in January, and it's up 70%. I love seeing that, Celia. Good for you. Bob got it. Doug, I'm keeping an eye on it. I told you 5,600 is going to be the pin, and we're probably going to rally from here. Jason, on the full throttle column on your screen here, check out my 3 portfolio briefs, trailers. You might want to correct that. Well, technically, Jason, the email counts as an alert. Like I just said, I do double work. I don't like doing double work, but you get the email after this brief. That's an email alert. I will add app alert in front of that. It should say app alert. So you get an email counts as an alert, right? So. So folks, this is the way to go. Do the CBOE trade. I love it. Options trading is exploding. For all the folks that are new here, like, hey, I'm learning about options. Well, you just added to that chart, baby. I love trading options because I'm long-term bullish in CBOE, and it helps me make money. It's like being invested in McDonald's and going to McDonald's. You're like, aha, I'm a shareholder and I'm making money here. Okay. Dennis, that's exactly what I'm going to do Thursday at 1 o'clock. I'm going to do a synthetic stock with Amazon. Amazon is my core synthetic stock position, man. I will cover a synthetic stock on Amazon Thursday afternoon in our solo Amazon service, right? That's what we do, baby. And I'm telling you, Amazon is the steal down here. It was a $245 stock last month. If you liked it at 245, it's a steal down here at 190 or whatever. So yes, and it's the same exact tactic, folks, the same procedure. It's going to be different strikes, obviously, because Amazon's, CBOE's at 215, Amazon, I'd love to be back up at 215. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? I went long. I was going to do Raytheon, a bull put spread on Raytheon, but I am out of time. These are usually hour briefs, and I took up some time. I would get bullish on Raytheon, folks. Maybe we'll cover that tomorrow. RTX. Look at this chart. Since war, death, and destruction is going on, Raytheon prints money, sadly. Let me move this line. Let me show you something. Here's an Obama teachable moment. Okay. I failed, but I have a soul now. What do I mean by that? The next time, and I hate talking like this, guys, because I am healed. I'm a different human, but I'm your options instructor, and I got to teach you this stuff. Learn from my mistake. On October 7th of 2023, I should have bought Raytheon. I should have told all of you to sell the wife and kids and buy Raytheon. Why? Because if you did, you made 78%. That's gross. Well, if you want a friend, get a dog. After the October 7th attacks, Raytheon was going down. October 7th attacks right here, the stock has returned 70, let's just round up, 80%. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. My apologies. Look at that. So Raytheon, folks, right here, right there. 70, oh, I'm sorry, 80. Do I have dyslexia? 70, see, I still do. 87%. That's why I don't love watching the news. I'd rather not. But folks, I see trade alerts, man. Airline crash, bearish on Delta. You should, once you get into the swing of things in the flow state like I do, this was a failure though. Why? Because I was sitting here like watching the horror of October 7th. Old Wiz, before he healed with psychedelics and hates war, would have been like, holy shit, buy the defense names. Learn from my failures. Okay. What am I rambling about? I'm rambling about, if I had more time, I'd do a bull put spread out a month on Raytheon. Maybe I'll post that trade. Maybe you should join right now and I'll post that trade and you can get it, like I did yesterday for the sniper trade that you didn't get. So ladies and gentlemen, in one day, $2,800 in profit. S&P 500 sniper yesterday afternoon, $1,000 in the Iron Condor today that we're managing. And then we got a nice little bounce off of 5,600 down here. Not worried about the day trade at all, baby. I told you I said 5,600 for a reason. Like I said 5,700 for a reason yesterday. Okay. So men lie, trades don't. You've been watching this stuff live, folks. If after a couple days of hanging with me and seeing me do this stuff live, I don't know what else I can do to get you to join. Here's the replay page that this replay will be posted on shortly. Let me give you the link to that to join. But let me just remind, because I'm glad Jason brought that up, folks. If you want the alert service, it's the annual membership or the monthly. This monthly is just your basic access to the briefs, to the app, to the website, to the training, the options weapon school, your manuals. Okay. This is the tire kicker. This is the, I don't necessarily need the app alerts on my phone, or I can get the email Wiz is going to send out in about 15 minutes after the brief. Okay. Questions, concerns, oh, by the way, is about this membership. Reminder, I'm one of the only guys that does this, folks. I go do those multi-speaker events like, hey, Wiz, can you speak at the Mad Hedge Fund Trader event? I'm like, sure, because we share leads, right? I'm like, if somebody watches me for 15 or for 45 minutes with 50 PowerPoint slides, how can you go, if you've done that, and God bless you, but most folks who've done that are miserable other places and love, they find a home here at TOPGUN Options, man. So I'm one of the only guys that does this. I usually get shit from people like, why aren't you charging for that training? That's making the rest of us look bad. I'm like, that's because you're one of the guys that shows 102 PowerPoint slides with all your winning trades that are probably from years ago, instead of showing people live what you do. It doesn't get any better than this, right? Showing you live, potentially making money and profiting. Martin, can I do the synthetic trade without doing the weekly? Sometimes I get busy and forget. Martin, absolutely. Some people, selling the front month call is, it's a little bit of blue collar work, man. Keep an eye on it and stuff like that. Other people, Martin, just do the synthetic stock and look at it 2.5 years from now, like, oh, it made 300%. Thanks, Wiz. You're welcome. So yeah, man. Martin, it would be like buying 100 shares of stock and forgetting about it and putting it in your filing cabinet. I wouldn't do that. But if you got a busy week, you don't have to sell a weekly call against it every week. Jim, what do we do with the other leg of the Iron Condor? You hang out until it hits what, Jim? 7, 8, 9, or double the credit you take in to eject. If we get an S&P rally, I will re-put on the bear call spread. Now for the rest of the week, we're going to be going in and out of that Iron Condor, man, taking nice shots and making money, Jim. Dave, Wiz is a man of ethics. Thank you, Dave. That was an unsolicited nice comment. Doug, the other guys cherry pick from the left side of the chart and promote themselves. Wiz is a real thing. Look at these two guys. Leonard, 82% for 2024 was my win-loss ratio. So absolutely, I tracked that. I'm going to highlight these two, Dave and Doug. Okay, so this is what the chat box looks like. I didn't ask these guys for that, so Dave and Doug, thank you for the kind words. I'm going to save that. I like unsolicited kind words. All right. Any other, oh, by the ways, questions, concerns, keep the smart remarks to yourself. Have I explained everything correctly? Lauren, do you do 7, 8, 9 for each leg of the iron condor, not both legs together? Nope, Lauren, yep, covered that a couple times, right? I treat an iron condor as 2 separate spreads. I don't 7, 8, 9 for the iron condor. I 7, 8, 9 for the bear call spread and the bull put spread. I treat them as 2 individual spreads. Okay, does that make sense? And folks, don't forget, in your full throttle training, you get an hour of me explaining all of that stuff, and I'm actually filled. I'm filled on that trade. Now I'm going to start dogfighting that thing. $20,000 in S&P 500 trades in 2.5 weeks. I paid for a lifetime membership or 6 years. So folks, in 2.5 weeks in this portfolio, I paid for 6 years of your membership in the Top Gun options. You're welcome. One more time, if that doesn't push you over the edge, I don't know what will. All right, tomorrow, we're going to be talking about investing to save and change lives. We're going to talk about potential good private investments you can get into that I'm in. That's my retirement, man. The rest of my life is in a lot of these names. Healing Realty Trust, Experience Onward, Maverick Mind, finally. So tomorrow's going to be a good day. I love talking about what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. All right, anything else? We good? Takes me about 20, 30 minutes to get the replay posted on the member page. I will send out an email right now with the trades in it. Other than that, good stuff. I think we've gotten about 4 or 5 new members, which is awesome. Okay, awesome, guys. Oh, wait, what was that last question? Thank you. Oh, good, awesome, great brief. I appreciate that, Rebecca. Awesome, folks, I gotta go. Have a great rest of your day. Fights on, namaste, and basi basi. What does basi mean? Basi means truth in the Bawiti, the Gabonese Bawiti tribes. They say basi. That means truth, and the truth shall set you free. God bless. See you tomorrow.